through the rates as they come up, and then we'll do stocks as we always do. So it's going to be slightly lower, mildly lower. 23,435 first rate, 23,400, about a third of a percent down. Nifty Bank is down about 0.14, 0.15. 51,180 or so is where that is at. Actually, it's almost flat. The Nifty Bank doing better than the Nifty. The small cap index is down a third of a percent. And I think you'll have the mid cap index, which will come up on your screen, is down about 0.45, 51,405 on the Nifty mid cap index. So that's the screen and the rates which are coming through. The Nifty heat map will give you a sense of how we are starting. But it's all about stocks this morning with auto comps, etc. in focus. You've got more down than up. And just about 15 names are higher, and the rest of the 35, 36 names are lower this morning.
And it's auto along the way. And the worst stock that's hit, and which is very sort of directly hit, is obviously Tata Motors, because of whatever imports that are going into the US from Jaguar and Land Rover, wherever those plants might be. But the fact is that once those cars are coming in, it's 25% tariff, as it's become very clear. So Tata Motors is a big casualty. There's a bit of a sentiment rub-off on Bajaj Auto and M&M. These are completely sort of inward-facing companies, and their export markets, for instance, Bajaj Auto are, Nigeria, etc., and Latin America. So they're not impacted by what's going on in the US. But sentiment rub-off, yes, slightly on the lower side. Eicher Motors also down about 1.5% at this point.
The tariffs, I think, only passenger cars.
Light trucks and passenger cars, along with components.
Yeah, but I don't think two-wheelers, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah.
So I'm saying that they don't have exposure. I mean, Bajaj is not exporting anyway to the US too much. Their markets are Latin America, Nigeria primarily. Yeah. But there's a bit of a sort of sentiment rub-off on the downside. Maruti, of course, is in focus because of the boardroom changes, the first ever Indian getting appointed, but stocks, of course, down about 0.5% at this point in time. By the way, let's look at Ashok Leyland because of this overhang issue on the promoter pledge, 4% down on that stock as well, since we're talking about autos. So aside of autos, IndusInd Bank is lower by about 2%. Sun Pharma, Dr. Reddy's, is some selling in pharma names as well. HCL Tech is down about 0.6%. It's not too bad actually for the Nifty. Let's talk about the winners then. What's keeping it up on the other side? Wipro, big order win announcement coming through, 1.5% up. L&T, we were just discussing that stock with our experts, 1% higher over there. Trent, because of that initiation brokerage report, 1.5% up there. Today, some of the big boys are supporting Reliance, ICICI Bank. These stocks right now on the positive side of the screen. But for the time being, Nifty is still lower by 40 points.
Well, that's right. From the broader markets, though, plenty of stocks are calling for attention. Some of them are Motherson, as you said, 6.5% down. So now BLW, that stock is down. But remember, the management had joined us. They said they had a plant in Mexico and they were supplying in Mexico. So they believe that they would not be hit. For the time being, the stock is down close to around 5% or thereabouts. Other couple of, auto ancillary companies, like a Balkrishna Industries, has lost close to around 4%. So keep an eye out on that one. Mid-size IT companies as well are getting hit. You have KPIT Technologies that is down 3%. Tata Elxsi as well is down close to around 2% or thereabouts. BSE, investors like what they've heard with regard to the company considering a bonus issue. For the time being, the stock is up 3.5%. So big up move is what we're seeing out there. NBCC is up close to around 3%, and PB Fintech up close to around 1.5%. Good recovery is what we're seeing from the lows on the Nifty itself. Now it's down only around 30 points or thereabouts, and as we mentioned earlier today as well, Trent could be a stock you should be focusing on. Yesterday had good price action. You have the initiating coverage as well, and they've added fair number of stores in this year so far, so I think the street will like that. On the flip side, you have a couple of other names that you should keep on your radar: Zomato as well as Jio Financial. Both of them will be part of the Nifty effective tomorrow. For the time being, we're seeing both those two stocks bring a relative outperformance.
Absolutely, and up on your screens now. By the way, the Nifty is completely recovered, right? I mean, we started with about a 0.25% kind of cut. We're now absolutely in the flat zone, 20 point lower, 23,467 is where we are at this point. So it's more stock specific with Tata Motors and some of the Motherson and Bharat Forge, etc., which are down in varying degrees. But for the broader market, we've come up pretty smartly. We have Lawrence